Bring awareness to your surroundings. Slowly start to sense your body. Now let us express our gratitude to all the masters. Gratitude to the universe. Gratitude to all beings on this planet. Gratitude to our body, to our breath, and gratitude to Mother Earth. Now slowly unlock your fingers and place them over eyes for 5 seconds, friends. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Now, whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And please have some water. Hope you're all back, friends. Thank you so much for joining in meditation. And without any delay, we will start today's session. Yeah. So we are discussing chapter 10 from the book, The Eternal Validity of the Soul, SETH speaks. So this chapter deals about death conditions in life. So in last session we have discussed about the conditions and what are these conditions. So these are those conditions, or like they are like patterns within us that SETH Master connects, that there is a relationship between our life before death and to the life after death. So there are these conditions, so they still apply. So we reflect onto these conditions even after leaving the physical body. So the first one we have discussed in last session is in physical life, you see what you want to see. So SETH Master says you will work out your ideas, problems, or dilemmas at your own level of understanding. So at our own level of understanding, so what we believe. So it's about our thought forms, our belief system. And again, with this belief system, we are constructing. So we are constructing the series of movement. We are constructing again and again the reality, not only in the physical time lapse, but also after leaving the physical body. And the advice that was suggested by SETH Master is to bring back our consciousness, but not to dwell in that emotions, not to dwell in that thoughts, or like what we this is what he said about, again, we have to be aware of our thoughts, words, and actions. So he said the great tip was given that what am I actually conscious at this moment. So when we recollect this sentence, or when we recollect, we can bring back, not to dwell into that emotions. And coming to today's session, so this is about the second condition, that the second condition is there are other voices, but you have conditioned your ears not to hear them. I repeat it. So SETH Master says there are other voices, but you have conditioned your ears not to hear them. The first condition, it's that what we see from our belief system, right? What we see, the perspective that SETH Master speaks about, what we believe, we see that. And whatever we feel, whatever the perspective of what our belief system, that is the reflection of that image that we see, right? This coming to the second, so it's like that there are certain realities around us, but no, there are other voices, but you have conditioned, so we have conditioned our ears not to hear them. So SETH Master, so coming to this explanation, so he says that when our eyes are open, so when we see, so in general, we observe the object in our surroundings, right? So when we see, we try to look into the objects. We try to see the objects, the physical objects in our surroundings. So, but Seth Master is asking us to look at the empty space and to listen in the middle of the space. So what he meant actually, like like we perceive, so we see only the physical objects, that means only the physical existence, that means we are connected only to the physical existence, ignoring ignoring the space. So even the space, he says that even the space, there are like molecular structures in the empty space. So every inch there are like a molecular structures. It is, this space is also made up of atoms and molecular structure. So it is not just empty as we see. There are certain things. So we have to see, we have to hear. So look into the space. We have to try. Just give an experiment, friends. Experiment it. So when we try to see into the space is not just looking into the sky, or space is not just a sky. Okay, when someone asks us in general, if we were told to look at the space, generally we lift, our eyesight goes up, like we see into the sky and see into the clouds, but there is space between each object, right? There is space here as well. So look into that space. Even that space is made up of molecular structures. So we can't see. But when we just focus on that space, he says that you can hear, not physically like hearing the voices. It's the voice, that the inner voice he is speaking about. But we can hear our inner voice. We can use our inner senses. So this is how, that means that in this space, so we see, so we can hear that inner voice that is coming from within. So we do use our inner senses like in dream state, because our physical body will be in resting position, right? So we don't hear our physical ears, but we hear. So astral body release, or so astral, we hear those inner voices, we hear everything we see. But we don't in our wakeful state. That means we are getting disconnected. So like in general he's saying, so in general, so some people they can hear, some of us like yeah, we do can hear that inner voice. Sometimes we can sense, but on and off. So it is not like continuous. Or some people, they don't even hear. They are just busy with the physical world. They are just attached to the physical existence. So to develop that inner voice, to develop that the to come out from these conditions, so we have to use our inner senses. Because friends, these inner senses, they act like the guide. This is my experience. So when I experienced the death condition, which I shared with you earlier. So in that, you know when I left my physical body, I was guided by my inner senses. I was guided, I clearly I observed. So I was guided by the inner wisdom, or you say like the inner senses. I couldn't see, I can hear, I know the path where I have to go, even the place where I have to go, even the path, everything that I know means the consciousness, the consciousness of myself, it knows. We can hear through our consciousness, and it is guided. So we are being guided by our consciousness, by the soul consciousness, but not the soul. So there is a difference here. Okay, see, like in the last experience recently I had. So I um, so I got to know that it's not the soul. So earlier I used to think that soul is guiding me. There's a soul that guides everywhere, but it's not the soul. But the soul is in observer state. Though we leave the body, okay, though we leave the physical body, though we are in the, if we are in the physical body itself, but it's not the soul that is guiding us. The soul is in complete observer state, in a witness state. It is witnessing everything. So what it is guided, so even the soul is guided by the souls, by the consciousness of the soul. So everything is in the consciousness. Even the wisdom, even the wisdom is in consciousness. So there is no separation. So everything that is existing in the consciousness, but not in the soul. So when we, so that's the reason, that the main reason, that one of the guided, one of the from 18 guided principles of PSSM, so Patricia says to not to worship the idol, because when we see the idol we are limiting ourselves, and we are just sticking to the physical, into the physical existence. But we have to connect with the consciousness of the idol. We have to connect the consciousness of the consciousness of the master, or you can see like because everything that is existing in consciousness, it's not in the idol, it's the consciousness. So that's the reason. So when we connect with our inner self, when we connect with our inner senses, so we have that ability, we all have that ability to connect with our inner senses, but we are being conditioned to hear only what we hear physically. Okay, so coming to the inner senses, we have explained here. So while you go about the inner senses, the coming to here, the inner senses, he says about the inner senses are equipped to perceive data that is not physical. I repeat this line. The inner senses are equipped to perceive data that is not physical. They are not deceived. They are not deceived by the images that you project in three-dimensional reality. Now, they can perceive physical objects. Your physical senses are extensions of these inner methods of perception, and after death, it is upon these that you will rely. See? So they are used in out of body experiences. If anyone, if you had experienced out of body experiences, so when you hear some masters, so when they are the out of body experiences, you hear them. See, when they leave their body, so it's like temporary, like out of body experiences, or you know that. So it's a temporary, so leave the body, they are being guided by the inner senses, right? And he says here, see, like very important line. So your physical senses are extensions of these inner methods of perception. So what we see, what we hear, it's like the extension of our inner self, extension of our inner senses. So when we are being guided by these, the consciousness, when the wisdom is guided by the, when the wisdom is guided, so these inner senses are being guided by the wisdom, so we can hear, or we can see, or it's like a one, that it's like a self-taught, or the self guidance that comes within. So in order to hear, so we have to develop these inner senses. So he says a simple exercise: just look into the space with your open eyes. So don't close your eyes, just see into the space between the objects. And he clearly has mentioned here that, you know they can perceive physical objects. These inner senses can perceive physical objects as well. They have that ability. And they are not deceived by the images that you project in three-dimensional reality. Even our eyes, it can be deceived. So we can be deceived, or we can easily go into the illusions with our physical eyes, but coming to the inner senses, so we can't. It's a real image. It's a so though it sees the physical object, we can sense something which is beyond the physical existence. That many of us, maybe you also had that sensing something, or some say like energy, or some say like what they feel, like it's coming from within. So this is what about inner senses, friends. So this is about the second condition. He says that we have been stopped, so but we have conditioned our ears not to hear them. So not to hear them, not physically, but our inner senses. So that's how we have to connect with ourself, and meditation helps to connect with ourself. Meditation, the simple breath meditation, anapanasati. So when we just sit with ourselves, meditation is like being with our own self. So when to know about ourselves, so when we connect with ourselves, so we can develop those inner abilities, we can develop those inner senses. So can be eyes or ears, the sensation, all the five senses, like they are called as wisdom eyes, or wisdom, um, uh, they are like five senses which are not physical. They are called as wisdom senses. So he says about mankind has had various conceptions of his own reality, but has purposely, it seems, turned away from it in the last century. And he says that there are many reasons for this. So Seth Master says, in many ways, we are dead now. So we are dead now, as dead as you will ever be. So here, no, he is trying to explain the concept of death through various perspectives and forms. So we often perceive death solely in the physical terms. No, but in truth, we are also dead in other realities where we are not actively experiencing existence, right? So here, he's saying about, this chapter about death, right? Death and the conditions. So he has explained us about certain conditions where we are limiting ourselves, okay, and this is also a kind of death. So we are experiencing the death even in the physical body. So how? So we perceive, there are other realities which are existing, but we are not actively participating, or we say like not actively experiencing the reality. It means that we are dead in that reality. So there are multiple realities, friends. There are multiple realities, and this physical existence is just one reality among many. Among many. Mm. See, for example, there are multiple rooms. Okay, multiple rooms in one floor. I so when I enter into one room, so if there are, for example, say like 5 to 6 rooms in one floor. So when I enter into one room, I'm not so I'm not present in other rooms. Like, so when I enter, I see only I see so I experience only that room. But in that floor, there are other rooms as well. That means I'm not present in other rooms, right? In different rooms. So I'm not present in 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. That means I'm only experiencing the room which I am there. So I'm only experiencing in that. So we being so we are there are multiple realities here in this existence, in this dimension. There are parallel realities, there are other multiple realities, but as I'm experiencing only that room, so most of us, so we are experiencing only the physical existence. So we think that experiencing means only with the physical objects, only with the physical senses, only with the physical body. But there are other realities. If I am experiencing this as I am not present in the other rooms, here he says about you are dead in the other realities. That means we are not experiencing it. That means you are dead in the other realities. So death is happening every time, but we are not we are not experiencing that. We think death means leaving the physical body. We just conditions. We say like this is also one of the condition. So we think like only leaving the physical body, only the physical terms, but death is happening everywhere, right? So sometimes though we experience it, we are not aware of that particular reality. So coming to the extension of this discussion, so he says, so sometimes we experience the other realities as well, but we are not aware of that particular reality because we have programmed our mind. Okay, we have programmed our mind to believe. This is also belief system, right? So to believe only the physical existence, only what I believe. So if I believe, yes, only there are two realities, okay, only this physical existence, and if I have experienced other dimension, I think that only these two realities are existing. But there are multiple realities as well. So sometimes, though we experience it, friends, we are not aware of that particular reality. How? He says here, let me read out what Seth Master says. While you go about your daily chores and endeavors, beneath normal waking consciousness, you are constantly focused in other realities also. See, like we experience it, we experience the other realities. But he says, reacting to stimuli of which, let me read out again. While you go about your daily chores and endeavors beneath normal waking consciousness, you are constantly focused in other realities also, reacting to stimuli of which your physical conscious self is not aware, perceiving conditions through the inner senses and experiencing events that are not even registered within the physical brain, right? So like, see, he says like we experience the other realities as well. That means our consciousness, say like our consciousness. So through our consciousness, we experience the other realities. So we that are included in the physical consciousness stimuli. That means like series of events. So like there are the series of events. In this series of events, what we are experiencing in the physical existence, in the physical consciousness, so these physical consciousness are included, even the other realities events are included. The impact, there is an impact, there is an effect of other realities our consciousness is experiencing, but we are ignoring, we are not experiencing it physically. Am I clear? So he says like there are like through the inner senses, that means that our inner senses are active. So, but we are not connected with that realities. The experiences events are not even registered within the physical brain. So we are not registered. So for example, like we can say the simple example, so experiencing the fragrance, okay? Experiencing the fragrance or some sound or some music that comes through inner senses. So, so like when we see in not only in meditation, so in meditation we do have certain experiences, right? So we experience certain out of body, or we can hear something, or we can experience with this physical body. But in a wakeful state, he is speaking about wakeful state. Okay, so in wakeful state, when we so if I sense something, if I sense some fragrance, okay, so I think, so I will think that it is, I will first of all I will search the place where this fragrance is emitting from, right? So when I search the place, so when I search the place, I see in the physical terms, right? In which, from which room or from which place, or if I couldn't able to track, so I just think that maybe it's coming from the person who has just passed, or has just passed me, by the side. So that means my pers so my perspective is like, I see only in the physical existence, I search here. But you know though I am experiencing, so that my inner senses, okay, with my inner senses there is something that here, there is something I could sense, but my brain that is searching from in the physical existence, which is not which is not the physical brain, which I have never experienced, or never had I had that memory of that fragrance. Okay, I don't have that memory. For example, thing, I don't have that memory of the fragrance. It means that is something new to me. So I search in the physical existence, ignoring ignoring that there is, so that there is certain realities as well, if I am not aware of that realities. So this is what he meant. If I hear the sound as well, something music, you know um, in the earlier, yeah, I had this experience in the earlier journey in my meditation. I used to hear om sound in my ears in a wakeful state, in both of my ears, the sound of om. So I was like, got confused. Why I got confused then? Because because we I am used to listen from a video, so from a record. So when I play something, if I play the same music, I am used to that. So I was bit tensed. So what happened to my ear? So why I'm hearing that? So in for in the practice of meditation, I got to know that in the journey. So I got to know that that it is coming from within. So it is coming from within. I'm hearing the sound that is coming from myself. So not from the physical body, but from the maybe the other realities, from maybe from the mm, uh, 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 from what you say, the from the consciousness, or what is whatever. So it is coming from within. So that the om sound which I hear. So this is what he is mentioning. So we are, so till then I am in that condition that I hear from only the physical existence, right? So we have to expand. So we have to break that belief system and look into that and hear into the space. We can hear in the space as well. Now, so like he says here, so these experiences, what we hear above, so beyond the physical existence, he says, after death, we will be aware of these dimensions of realities that we ignore now. So when we leave our body, we will get to know, we will realize that there are certain dimensions, certain other realities. So we experience that other realities after leaving the physical body. So like earlier, Seth Master has explained us about time and space. If you remember from maybe in the chapter 3, yes. So he's explained about space and time, both are assumptions, like both are illusions. And time does not consist of a series of moments, one before the other. So, but we perceive it now in that manner. So we think like, like we think like every experience or every event that is happening one after the other. So in fact, there is no time. There is no, this time and space both are illusions. So there is no the time boundary, or events are not happening in that particular time one after the other. Everything is happening in the present moment. There is only one time, or there is only one thing, that is present moment, right? So so he is like, he is trying to explain that it is not programmed. These events, whatever it is happening, whatever we are experiencing, it is not happening one after the other, right? It is happening at a time. Now see, like being in the present moment. So when we are in the present moment, if I am if I am if I am recollecting some memories from the past memories, so that means completely, if I am dwelling into that emotion, like simply saying, like reliving in the past. Okay, if I am reliving in the past, that means I am not in the present moment, and I'm experiencing that past being in the present moment. Okay, being in the present moment, I am experiencing the past. Now where the time here? So I just went into that past. Yeah, so if I have experienced certain past lives, so see, like if I past lives, that life has been ended some earlier, some years ago, like some ages ago, some decades ago maybe. But if I experience my past life being in the present moment, now where the time has come here? There is no time. There is no existence of time. That is not happening. That each event in our life is not programmed. It is that we are creating, but everything is in the present moment. Being in the present moment, we are creating something. So if I am, see, like, if I am present, if I am experiencing the other realities experience, and if I am there in the physical existence, if I am doing, if I am working in the physical existence, doing some chores, okay, but I am experiencing some other realities. See what it is happening here, what it is happening. So being in the present moment, being everything is in that time, that means in the present moment, in this moment, not even in the coming second, in this second, everything is happening, right? So that is why that is what he is saying about the time and space both are illusions, and the time does not exist, and this time does not exist, a series of movement in this time, right? So he will explain later so what it meant. So it is not programmed. Simply think like these events are not happening one after the other. Everything is happening at a time, right? So let me read out uh, uh, the uh, the events. It says here, events are not things that happen to you. They are materialized experiences formed by you according to your expectations and beliefs. Inner portions of your personality realize this now. After death, you will not concentrate upon the physical forms taken by time and events. I'll repeat this sentence. After death, you will not concentrate upon the physical forms taken by time and events. You may use the same elements as a painter might use his colors. See, like already for the painter, already the colors are existing. He can use whatever the color he want, right? So even after death, so after death we experience this. We think that every movement is happening one after the other, but but we have to break that again. We have to break that assumption. I mean, break that belief. And he says about everything here we experience after death. So after death, we don't see that these movements are happen one after the other. So these are happening according to our, again, according to our understandings, according to our expectations and our beliefs. So like, after death you will experience not to concentrate upon the physical form. So why he have explained this? So if a person's life, think about, if a person's lifespan is about like 70 years, so he has a lifespan of 70 or 70 plus years. So after death, if he want to correct his mistakes, no, after leaving the body, if he want to correct his errors, or say like if he want to to learn from the errors of judgments which he has committed at the age of 50. Okay, this person has lived for 70 plus years, say like 70 years. Okay, after leaving the physical body, he want to check his, so generally we do, so every soul does that. So so if we want to check the whatever the mistakes he has committed at the age of 50, he need not undergo each and every event, each and every phase until he comes to 50. That means from the birth to 50 years. So he need not go. So it is not even necessary for that soul. So for that soul to go to the series of events. That means because the events here is not happening one after the other, right? That's the reason even when after leaving the body, if the person wants to correct at the mistakes at the age of 50, he directly goes to that moment, right? The whole event, he need not experience the whole event as he experienced in the physical form. As he experienced in the physical form, so till 50 of committing the mistake at the maybe the wrong judgment, so he need not go after death as he has experienced in the physical form. In the physical form, he may alter the events. He can directly go into that phase. See, like just try to understand. So if we while watching a movie, so if I have earlier watched that movie, okay, before, if I am not interested in certain action parts, if I want to listen to one of the song, if I want to listen, if I want to know at the comedy part, or if I want to whatever that is interesting to me, what we will do, so what I will do, I will just skip all the I will just skip the series of the scenes, right? I just skip all the clippings, all the clip, and I will go to that particular scene, right? In the same way, after leaving the body, we just go into that particular as easily as we do here, because there is no time here. There is no, like, it's not happening. I need not no watch each and every clip, each and every the scene to understand that. Already I have experienced that. So here in the same way, even after death, but why we have that ability, why we have that technique, just going to that event, because here in the physical existence it is not happening one after the other. It's our belief, it's our expectation. So like Seth Master says here, some choose this, so some choose this, so like no correcting, some choose this rather than reincarnating, or rather as a study before a new reincarnation. So some these people are often perfectionist at heart, so they must go back and create. They must write their errors. Write in the sense means they must correct their errors. So they use the immediately past life as a canvas, and with the same canvas, they attempt a better picture. This is a mental and psychic exercise undertaken by many, demanding great concentration, and is no more hallucinatory than any existence. So here, if a soul wants to correct, if a soul wants to learn from its own mistakes which has committed in the physical, when the soul is in the physical existence, so either before reincarnating, so some souls, they decide to take birth to correct these mistakes, and some souls, they need not reincarnate to correct these mistakes, right? They correct it, they learn with the psychic ability. That means they just go into that complete, they just go into that emotion, but here, but not physical. They need not come, they did not take the body, they just experience that emotion, and they just concentrate on mistake that has committed, not the whole emotion, that it is not necessary for the soul to undergo that whole emotion, right? It just concentrate on the mistakes. It learns from the mistakes, either before reincarnating or for either before reincarnation, or some souls they correct by taking birth. So, right. So, and next in the next session, we will learn more about mm, certain topics, friends. And coming to this correcting the mistakes, like, even when we are in the physical body, we can correct it, and we have that ability. We need not. So most of us do, right? So if I have committed some error, some mistakes, we don't try to repeat that mistakes, right? So whatever, so if we has happened, if we are don't have that memory, and some they can't connect with the past lives, if it is okay. So this is a message from Master Anastasia. So she said, earlier, so she said about the correcting about the mistakes. So when you are so just when you can't see something, so when if you have not have that memory of your past event, so every event, so every whatever that we have experienced till now, we don't have that memory, right? Each and everything that we have experienced. So in order to, if we want to correct it, if we think that something we have done, so it's okay if you don't recollect, if you don't have that memory. What she said, uh, just be with the wisdom, be in the present moment, and continue to take that wisdom. So be with the wisdom. So when you being with the wisdom, it will automatically be, the mistakes what we have committed will be corrected. Not like that we literally go into the past and we will correct it, but the whatever the lesson we need to learn, so we will learn that lesson already. So when the lesson has learned, so we need not experience the consequences of the events, or the consequences of the mistakes what we have committed earlier. Automatically it will be corrected. So need not worry about that. I can't see my past lives, or I can't have that, that memory of the past, whatever the mistakes we have committed in this life. It's okay, we need not go back. Just be with the wisdom. If you have that memories, if you have that certain events, if you have memorized, it's okay, give that wisdom, need not experience that emotion. Just look into that part where you need to where you feel that you need some correction. Okay, so it's not so this is what we need not undergo the consequences. And moreover we won't repeat that mistakes, friends. So it's like auto corrected, right? So yeah, thank you so much then, um, for being this session, friends. Thank you so much. If at all you want to share anything, you can unmute yourself, and some interesting topics are coming ahead in this chapter. Before that, yeah, where shall we just close our eyes and meditate for just 1 minute, friends? Then we'll go when we will listen to Ramsar's sharing, just for 1 minute. can open your eyes whenever you want, friends. No, sir.
Thanks a lot, Sarada Garu. First of all, the group meditation and the combination of the music was so very deep. It was as if we shouldn't end this, it should go on. And then came such a beautiful wisdom. And you see, it has so many layers of information, particularly when we listen about these inner senses, which are constant guides, and that we are simply not aware of them. And by that, we miss experiencing them. And it is the belief systems in many ways that block these experiences of the inner senses. So, and then even in our wakeful state, because generally we always think that when we are in meditation, we connect to these inner senses, but it is constantly happening, just like now as our conversation is happening, just like the rest of the world is functioning. In the same way, our inner senses are constantly functioning. Things are happening. We are simply not aware. And very beautifully, you shared what Seth Master says, that those inner senses are experiencing death in a way that we are not aware of them at that level. So if we look that word again and kind of rephrase it, what came to my thoughts is, indeed, death is a profound presence. So death is not an absence. Death is a profound presence. And indeed, it's a deeper presence, real presence, and greater awareness. So we have to move from a death where we are absent of those inner senses into the real death, which is a profound presence and experience of this awareness. So it was a very, very beautiful way of explaining these concepts of what's death. And very, very beautiful. I just had a thought that we are so fortunate. So easily we sit at our places and connect to these beautiful wisdoms that you share without without big effort from our side. So very grateful to you, and the passion with which you share is so beautiful. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. It's like I am really enjoying Seth wisdom. It's like um, even when I'm reading it, so I feel like I'm completely absent. I was completely absent in the physical existence. So I don't even remember where I sit. So where I read. So don't know, but it's like deep connection. I'm really enjoying and thankful to you all, for participating and adding your energies as well. It's very important. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you so much, Nandini ji, Rashmi ji, Denisa. As friends, so if at all no sharings, then we'll continue in the next session. Thank you so much, friends, for joining. And yeah, shall we end the session, sir?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Namaste. Thank you, everyone.